It's not authority that's truth. It's truth that is authority. In a practical sense, that doesn't always connect because we live in a society and there are rules to follow. But it's grounding in a way to be able to step back from all of the messages we're getting. If you can step back and think about, well, what's true for me? What have my experiences been?
What is one perspective that you've had shift in a significant way over time, and what led to that perspective shift?
Well, one of the things I've been thinking about recently is, especially with the elections coming up in the US, the balance between truth and authority. So oftentimes as children, we see authority as truth. So our parents or teachers, or as we get older, police officers and public officials, that's authority. And because they're authority, they hold on to the truth. And whatever they say is true. And as I've gotten older, I've seen that it's not authority that's truth. It's truth that is authority. Now, in a practical sense, that doesn't always connect because we live in a society and there are, rules to follow. But I think it's grounding in a way to be able to step back from all of the messages we're getting, whether they're political messages or social messages or just all these different types of things people want us to feel through advertisements and marketing. Yeah, even advertisements and marketing are a form of authority. This is the best cleaner for your sink. This is the best coaching program, the best whatever. We see those as authority. But if you can step back and think about, well, what's true for me? What have my experiences been? Because a lot of times internally, the experiences that we have with people and situations, they don't actually match up with what we're being told, but we value the opinions of others, outside sources, other authorities more than our own inner authority. And it makes us feel lost our whole life because we feel one thing, but then we get scared to fully lean into that. So we're doing something else because we think that we can't be correct because someone else who knows more than us is telling us what to do. And I better just do what they say because it's probably safer to do that or more profitable to do that or better to do that. And then we go our whole lives feeling kind of out of alignment. And if you could kind of disconnect from that, I'm kind of joking, but that is something psychedelics can help you with. Meditation can do the same thing. But just like disconnect from that and figure out, well, what's true for me? Then you start to find inner authority. And as you start to listen more to that voice, you'll start to see changes in your life that will be for the positive. Some of them might be painful, but they are positive. And you'll start to have a more balanced and peaceful internal dialogue in life because you're following what's true for you and not what's true for others.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully well said. And I think that one of the things that I keep being aware of is with the internet and social media, currently we have such a crazy amount of different inputs that are not our own coming into us at hyperspeed
and
hyperactivity. Yeah.
It's amazing to look at, isn't it? It's amazing to think about how much we take in and what we filter out and what gets in there without us wanting it to get in there. We have memes running around our head all the time, memes that other people created and they live there now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And, along the same lines, I've been really, really thinking about this idea lately of the difference and importance between indirect experience and direct experience. And for me, my own epistemology, I kind of don't want to go through the whole rabbit hole, but my real belief is the only thing I know is what I experience, right? Because I can't really know that you exist, but I can know that I'm having this experience of talking with you.
Oh, I don't exist, buddy. I'll save you the suspense. There's nothing here.
Great. Perfect. That problem is solved for me. And it just makes me realize how much of my own life, but how much of all of our lives right now are these, we kind of experience things as we feel like we know things because of this indirect experience, but we're kind of living in a false reality set by all of these different messages rather than actually having an experience with somebody, which is even a lot of the reason I have this podcast is I feel so often, even a lot of the other podcasts that are out there are often interviewing experts, talking about data, talking about these extrapolations of things, which none of those are actual people. No one's actually talking to the human being in front of them anymore, having these conversations that you can only really find out when you actually experience somebody else rather than hear about how that person is.
Well, I think that's also beautifully said. And there's a great concept I was reading in a Carl Jung book recently, and he was talking about how there's an average doesn't really exist. So let's say you have a bag of rocks and you say the average weight of a rock in here is one pound or whatever. But there might not be any rock in the bag that's actually 1 pound. You're taking the average of all of the rocks and saying, this is what, if we divided, there's 100 rocks and we divided all by total weight, and this is what the average weight is. But there might not be one rock in there that actually fits that is actually the average. So you say the average person makes this much money. The average penis size is this. The average, the average person has this many, kids, like I'm making stuff up,
Mm-hmm.
but averages in data aren't people, as you're saying. And then we take that as fact and we compare ourselves through our lived experiences to the extrapolations of other people, and then we feel like we don't measure up.
Yeah, I mean that goes back to you mentioned Carl Jung earlier, but like one of the things that I've taken from him is like the statistics are never the patient, right? Like
Mm.
understanding that
Yeah.
like these things can point, can help, direct, can inform, and that the same thing like map is not the territory, right?
Yeah.
It's that same idea. Yeah,
Yep. 100%.
yeah, beautiful.